Hello, this is Frank Hyde, and welcome once again to another of the series of the greatest games of all. Come back with me to 1962, when we were hosts to that Great Britain side, led by Eric Ashton, one of the most polished centres we've ever had here, and that great back line of Mike Sullivan, Neil Fox, the scoring machine, and the great Billy Boston. We had Dave Bolton at 5'8", and Alec Murphy, the half-back, probably one of the greatest that England has ever produced. We had as lock forward Derek Turner, who took over from the great Corralius, and Derek Turner was built like a pylon of the Harbour Bridge, just as solid, just as hard. And in the second row we had Dick Huddett, and that sidestepping second rower Brian Edgar, and what a great front row we had in Brian McTeague, Bill Sayer and Herbert. Well, this was the team that set out to try and win the 3 test matches. Before showing you the highlights of those 3 tests, I'd like to hand over to that great sports writer and particularly the great rugby league writer, the late Ernie Christensen, to introduce the first test.
The mantle of greatness, which once rested on formidable packs of Australian Rugby League forwards, fairly was transferred to Great Britain 6 in the first of the 1962 Test Series in Australia. Great Britain's vanguard, spearheaded by dashing 16-stone second rower Dick Huddart, paved the way for a 31-12 win, one of the most crushing victories in any of the 65 tests played to this stage. In brilliant sunshine, more than 70,000 wildly excited spectators packed historic Sydney Cricket Ground to its capacity.
Well, in 1962, the Test Series, we knew we were up against a very good Great Britain team. They were out here in 58, and many of the players had returned in 62, and in my opinion, it was the best Great Britain side, the best Test side I'd ever played against.
I was looking forward to the experience more than the girls, particularly with Huddart and Edgar and the brilliant ball carrying of Brian McTeague himself, and also trying, in my position really, trying to work out their quick halves. That was Dave Bolton, who has played here in Australia, and Alex Murphy.
I think in the 62 we had a distinct advantage over the Australians then, because the majority of the English side had toured Australia in 1958. The nucleus of that 58 side came out again in 62. With the Australians, they had how can you put it, it was a different era in football, whereas in 58 they had a lot of players, and then they changed the whole ball game in the 62 series, and I think this was where England had the advantage, where we had so many players that had played together for 4 years.
No other test in the past decade had been preceded by as many incidents as this one, setting the climate for a match that gave promise of making football history. It was in this atmosphere that Great Britain took the field, stern-faced and determined that its sole mission, retention of the Ashes, would be fulfilled at all costs. Australia wins the toss, and Mike Sullivan kicks off for Great Britain, sending the ball into touch, so that a scrum will be ordered back on halfway. Australia wins the first scrum, and Summons goes to the blind side, sends to Hagan, who's tackled by Neil Fox. Australia tries to get moving with the ball, and Lynch makes a vigorous burst, but is tackled by Murphy. Beattie lobs the ball out to Raper, who gets it to Rasmussen, but he's grounded in Australia's half. Now comes the first sensation. 5'8", Arthur Summons races away towards the right wing with Johnny Raper in support. Summons is too nippy for Sayer. He cross-kicks. Boston goes for the ball. So does Brown. Irvine gets it, and time's over for a spectacular try. The crowd is elated and thinks this must be Australia's day. Only 4 minutes have gone. Don Parrish converts. Australia leads 5-0. Many tests have been won by smaller margins. Australia won. Another scrum to Australia. Fullback Parrish comes into the picture with a brilliant burst down the left wing. Neil Fox, however, just manages to tap his ankles. Gasnier halfway. Gary Parcell sends a long pass to Summons, but again the defense stands firm. Barry Muir sets off down the center. Bolton is there for his tackle. Walsh can't get through either as Edgar downs him, ball and all. Gasnier cross kicks to Cleary's wing, but the bounce beats both Cleary and Sullivan. The ball goes into touch. Back comes Great Britain with Edgar leading. There goes Turner with a great run down the left wing. This is a sample of handling in the best British style. Boston also makes a good run, but the defense just manages to put him off balance. Summons is away again with a bright burst. His cross kick is for Raper, who flicks the ball back to Summons. Summons, however, is heavily tackled. The crowd is tense as Australia clings tenaciously to its 7-0 lead. Now comes the second sensation. Parcell bursts deep into Britain's 25. He is stopped by Huddart. Huddart grabs Parcell, turns him round, and steals the ball. He makes good his escape, eluding Gasnier, Beattie, and Rasmussen. But watch Parrish slow him down. In comes speedy winger Cleary to finish off the tackle.
We hadn't seen the big running second row forwards since the days of Ali Brousset and Ponsonnet, and then we get out there and there's these two massive hulks of men and Brian Edgar who could run and also step off either foot, and then we had this other massive hunk of a man in Dick Huddart, who I had the fortune of playing for here with in Australia, St George.
McTeague sends Edgar through close to Australia's line. Dummy half McTeague fumbles the ball without knocking on. From his knees, he passes to Turner, who races around the blind side to the left wing. While Cleary covers his opposite number, Sullivan, Turner slips inside to make Great Britain's first try. The crowd is pleased with Britain's clever play. Fox fails at goal, but Australia's lead is slashed to 7-3 after 18 minutes. Star Michael Cleary pulls out of a tackle by Sullivan, but is grounded by Fox. Cleary gets the ball to Muir, to Summons, who throws a high pass to Parcell, but Huddart and Boston's defense is sure. Bolton is tackled, but gets the ball away wildly. Brown gathers, but can't make headway. It's Turner bunching off several tackles in this incident, supported by a vigorous run by Fox. Fox goes through Parrish's tackle, struggles with Cleary and Hagan, but gets a one-handed pass to Sullivan, who dives over in the corner for Great Britain's second try. But again, Fox, the man with an international goal-kicking reputation, fails. Australia clings a little precariously to its 7-6 lead. In play again. Here we see Gasnier in one of his sparkling moments. Huddart pulls away from Gasnier and goes through Parrish's tackle. After a long sprint, however, Gasnier stops him from behind, and Lynch 9 lands on top of the burly forward for good measure.
Well, Dick Huddart, he was a runner with the ball, a good second rower, and with players like McTeague in the front row, he was running off them, and if he ever made a break, he was a very hard man to get hold of.
Australia's 11th hour defence, however, only postponed the inevitable. A long pass by McTeague to Herbert, to Bolton, sees the two British centres, Fox 9 and Ashton 1, handle before Sullivan crosses wide out for his second and Great Britain's third try. Sully runs round to ground the ball in a handy goal-kicking position, but again Fox fails. The exciting first half ends with Britain in command, 9 points to 7. Muir begins the second half, but unlike his opposite, Murphy, is unable to get the ball into touch. McTeague has possession. This is one of the few occasions when Haddad did not get away. The champion second rower is checked by Muir and Summons and eventually brought down by Rasmussen 10. Raper finished at the bottom of the group. Away goes Murphy, who cross kicks. Summons gathers, but is quickly gathered in by Ashton. It's 9-7 to Great Britain, but Australia isn't beaten yet. Beattie's pass to Gasnier is charged down by Bolton. Cleary cannot take the ball when it rolls near him. With the second half well underway, the crowd is in an expectant mood. Turner makes a break. There goes Haddad, pulling out of tackles before sending to Turner. This time there is no stopping Haddad as he takes giant strides down the center, runs away from the opposition to score under the post. Fox makes no mistake with this one, and Great Britain leads 14-7. Great Britain is dangerous again as Haddad races downfield. The movement stopping near Australia's 25 with a fine tackle by Summons and Parrish. Muir runs cleverly from a scrum base but cannot get the ball to his supports and is tackled 10 yards on the Australian side of halfway. Britain's forwards continue to dominate play as Turner, McTeague and Edgar rush to Australia's 25. Bolton, who streaks away. The Australians are on the move again with Muir, Summons and Hagen handling. Nothing comes of this promising rush, but Lynch gets Gasnier on his way in a dazzling burst in which he outpaces Fox 9, Sullivan 23, and pushes off round to dive over in the corner for a magnificent try.
Well, Ronnie Lynch, he set up a very good movement, and I supported him, and well, once I was in the clear, I knew that we had to get points up at that stage.
And the crowd roars its delight when Parrish's kick is ruled a goal. British players protested, however, that the kick was wide. But it's up there on the board, and Australia trails 12 points to 14. A minute later, Herbert tries to force his way through. Then that master of forward strategy, McTeague, hoodwinks his rivals near the 25, passes to Wigan clubmate Ashton, who runs over, unopposed to score behind the posts. The extras are by Fox, and Great Britain shoots further ahead, 19 points to 12. Fox made it 21-12 with another goal, tightening Great Britain's grip on this first test. Australia has its back to the wall as Haddad passes to Turner, who is well grasped by Gasnier. Walsh gets the ball away to Cleary's wing, but a bad pass to Cleary's knees gives him no chance. When he does get the ball, however, Cleary sets sail for the line. Murphy's high tackle, which knocks Cleary unconscious, arouses the ire of the spectators. An ambulance man goes to Cleary's assistance. Haddad's greatness, despite a first-half head injury, which reduced his efficiency, again manifests itself. He breaks through Beattie's tackle, shakes off a low tackle by Summons, and kicks deep into Australia's territory. This time it's Bolton who is away. Sullivan is dropped by Raper a few yards from Australia's line. Bolton, Edgar, McTeague and Turner storm Australia's line. Here is the Wigan combination again, as McTeague, tackled by Muir, gets the ball out to Ashton, who races past Gasnier and scores again behind the post, his second try. It's been a great day for Ashton, leading Great Britain in a test in Australia for the first time. Fox's goal makes it 26-12. His conversion of a late closing try by Boston made the final tally Great Britain 31, Australia 12.
Well, there it is, a great win to Great Britain, 31-12, 7 tries to 2, and that was a true indication of the difference between them.